Hello everyone. Today we'll be looking at how NSAIDs, ACE inhibitors, and ARBs affect the kidneys. These are all drugs. NSAIDs are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. ACE inhibitors, angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors, and ARB, angiotensin receptor blockers. How they affect the kidney. Okay. So before we start, there's a concept that we need to first grasp. So let me get my pen here. Okay, so this is your glomerulus, and this is part of the nephron. Your kidneys is made of about 1 million nephrons. So the nephrons are the smallest parts of your kidneys. And then as blood flows into your kidneys, it splits into the million nephrons, and the blood comes in from the afferent arteriole and comes out, gets filtered here in the glomerulus. Some of it gets filtered and some of it comes out in the efferent arteriole. So whatever comes in, it either has to come out here or come out here. Okay. So what does NSAIDs do? NSAIDs is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, as I mentioned before, and the net effect of NSAIDs on your kidneys. NSAIDs is actually used for pain relief, some anti-inflammatory use, for example, for pain relief in gout. It's really useful, but however, long-term NSAID use can actually have a harmful effect on your kidney, and I'm going to show you how. So the effect is actually vasoconstriction of the afferent arteriole. So this is the afferent arteriole here. So it constricts this arteriole here. So less blood is going into your kidneys. Less blood is going into your glomerulus, and then as a result of that, less blood is getting filtered here, and less blood is coming out in the efferent arterioles. So when less blood is getting filtered in the glomerulus, you get a decrease in glomerular filtration rate, which is a measure of the function of your kidneys. Because your kidneys need to filter all the toxins in your blood so that it comes out in your urine, right? So if you have decreased GFR, it's indicates reduce in the function of your kidneys. And also, less blood is coming to the efferent arteriole here. And because the efferent arteriole here, there's a branch out here that supplies to the rest of your nephron. So these blood vessels are important to supply oxygen and to remove carbon dioxide and other kind of metabolic waste from the cells in your kidneys. If less blood is coming here, there will be ischemia over here in your kidneys, and as a result, it will lead to chronic kidney disease or kidney failure at the end. So long-term NSAID use can lead to kidney failure. Next, we'll be talking about angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors, which ACE inhibitors, and ARBs, so angiotensin receptor blockers. So these two, they actually have the similar effect because in the end, it blocks the action of angiotensin. So one blocks it at the converting part and one blocks it at the receptor. So what does this ACE inhibitor and angiotensin receptor blocker do to your kidneys? So the net effect is actually blocking the effect of angiotensin. So the effect of angiotensin is actually constriction of your efferent arteriole here. So the effect of angiotensin is actually constriction here. So if you block the action of angiotensin, you actually cause dilation of the vessels. So as a result of that, we'll look at the result in the next slide. So angiotensin, ACE inhibitors and ARBs, are they renal? Do they cause renal harm or are they renal protective? So in general, right? In general, or in cases where you have diabetes. In general, it's renal protective, right? Especially when you have diabetes, because when you have diabetes, if you watch my previous video on how diabetes causes chronic kidney disease, um, diabetes, there's a hyaline arteriolosclerosis, which is hardening and thickening of the arteries, especially affecting the efferent arterioles. So, as a result, these efferent arterioles get narrowed, and then there's hyperfiltration and there's damage to the cells in your glomerulus, and that causes glomerulosclerosis and reduces your GFR. If you do not know what I'm talking about, please go back and watch the video so that you understand what's going on. But yeah, so the effect of diabetes is hyaline arteriolosclerosis, which causes narrowing over here. So what angiotensin receptor blocker, ACE inhibitors and ARBs, what they do, if you remember, is they dilate this vessel here. So it kind of protects your kidneys from this hyperfiltration that diabetes causes. So in diabetes, it's actually renal protective for these ACE inhibitors and ARBs. Okay. And however, in some cases, they will be these two drugs, and ACE inhibitors and ARBs, will actually cause kidney like it's actually renal harm instead of renal protective. One of these cases is where you have renal artery stenosis. Stenosis basically means narrowing of your arteries, and renal artery is the artery supplying to your kidneys. So if there's narrowing of the arteries supplying your kidneys, there's actually less blood coming into each of your glomerulus. So less blood coming through the efferent arteriole, and if you dilate this efferent arteriole, it will actually make most of the blood come out here. Let me just get the pen so you can see. Okay, so because this is narrow, the renal artery is narrow, less blood is coming here. And any blood that comes here either comes out here or here, right? And then if you use ACE inhibitors when you have renal artery stenosis, and you dilate this part here, so it will divert most of the blood out here. So less blood gets filtered out here. And as a result, your glomerular filtration rate decreases. And if that decreases, your body cannot get rid of all the harmful waste that is supposed to go out in your urine. Yeah. And another case where angiotensin ACE inhibitors and angiotensin receptor blockers are harmful for your kidneys is when you have late chronic kidney disease. If you remember from the previous video, chronic kidney disease is where there's glomerulosclerosis happening over here, so less blood is being able to be filtered here, and hence the glomerular filtration rate decreases. And then if you use ACE inhibitors and ARBs, you dilate this part here, you're gonna do the same thing. It's already hard for it to come out, for the blood to be filtered here because of all the hardening and thickening over here. And then you further reduce the blood that is coming out here by dilating this part. So blood gets diverted here. And so your glomerular filtration rate decreases. Yeah, that's how it's renal harm in these two cases. I think that's all I have for you. Thank you.